Did the Pokemon anime just tease the return of Mega Mewtwo? With Mega Evolution returning in this series, there's been a lot of talk about which Mega Evolutions we will see, and it could be that merchandise has given us a small hint to what is to come. Takara Tomy has revealed a new Pokeball toy that features a variety of Mega Evolutions that can be found within the set. Once again, we see the Pokémon Horizons logo, that could indicate this set may coincide with the anime series. For those of you that are unaware, Pokemon merchandise tends to be one of the most reliable pieces that hints towards leaked information and upcoming events in the Pokemon anime. Seeing as we've seen merchandise relate to a lot of events in the series so far, I'm sure history could repeat itself again. It could be that maybe we will see Liko and Roy encounter other trainers with Mega Evolutions and overcome them in battle in order to get stronger. When it comes to both the Mega Mewtwo forms, I don't really see a trainer owning either one of these Pokemon. However, I could be completely wrong, especially seeing as we know that various trainers have legendary Pokemon in this series. Will Liko and Roy both encounter a Mewtwo? Will Liko actually catch a Mega Mewtwo? Who knows? Let's now talk about today's episode. Uruto arrives at a town and is in search of Roy. Meanwhile, we see the duo chatting with Dart about a new sighting of Rakurium. Uruto actually makes me laugh. He's clearly jealous of Liko being Roy's friend. Not because she's a girl, but more the fact that Uruto doesn't have many friends. Even though him and Roy are friends and rivals, it's evident he looks up to him a lot. The gang end up coming across the infected Steelix, and they use Lucario's aura to try and scout any potential danger. Steelix really is no joke, and I thought the gang were going to be able to hold it down well during the battle. That is until they end up finding out two Steelix are both infected. This is because Uruto ends up coming across the infected Steelix, and when it collides with the other Steelix, that too ends up becoming infected. The Steelix that Liko and Roy were battling originally wasn't infected by Rakurium, but it's calm bro, because Uruto ends up catching up and assisting the duo. We are blessed once again with Mega Evolution, and I have to say, this segment is just so cool. The OST gives me goosebumps, and I really need it to be released ASAP. Liko seems to be intrigued and inspired by Mega Evolution, and maybe relating to our earlier chat of her getting one of her own could come into fruition soon. After trying their best to restore the Steelix back to normal, the effects of Rakurium appears to hurt the Pokemon, causing them to actually fight each other. Poor Liko gets reminded of what happened to the 6 heroes, and she tries her best to help them, but in a moment of danger, we finally get to see our beloved Pokémon return. See, I told you our baby wasn't gone forever. It's just like when he saved her back in episodes 1 and 2, and this time he transforms into his terrestrial form to purify the affected Pokemon. I was really happy to see him again. Liko ends up learning about how Roy and Uruto met back in the Kalos region. Uruto once again gets left behind after he explains his goals about Rayquaza, which was kind of funny. I really like the dynamic this group has. Meanwhile, we see the return of Zerk and Konya, and they are speaking to Hamba about Mewtwo. Gosh, I wish we got to see what he looked like. Whilst I'm not 100% sure if Mewtwo is hiding or ran away after what happened with Spinel, we do learn that there's definitely something going on with Zygarde, as Hamba reveals the Zygarde Cube and how it stores cells within it. I'm telling you, my theory of there being a complete Zygarde is coming more and more real, and don't worry, I've got a special video coming out soon about that. In the end, the trio decide that they're going to try and help Mewtwo as much as they can to stop Spinel once and for all. Overall, a pretty good episode. I really liked seeing Uruto finally join the gang, and I'm glad Liko got to learn more about Mega Evolution with Pokémon returning. As always, when subs are revealed, I'll post my full review on Twitter, so if you haven't followed me there already, then you already know what to do. Let's now chat about next week's episode. Episode 93 is titled Super Stands, a Gurumin fan battle. The summary states the following. Gurumin receives an eyewitness report regarding the Black Rayquaza. Liko and Roy go to the city where the eyewitness lives, where they find the passionate Gurumin fan named Litten Girl. However, Litten Girl's attitude changes completely when she learns that Liko and the others are members of the Rising Bolt Tacklers. A battle starts, and Litten Girl sends out Incineroar, which Meowscarada is at a type disadvantage against. What will Liko do? Looking at the preview trailer, we get the first look of what Litten Girl looks like. Her appearance was first teased back in the opening. The interaction seems like it will go 50-50, as we can see how Litten Girl is very passionate and full of energy about Gurumin. I'm quite intrigued to learn how the battle will unfold after she learns the true identity about Liko and Roy. It goes to show that Spinel is very influential with his criminal mindset and lies to the world. I wonder if Gurumin will become a recurring character in this arc as well. During the 1 hour special, we discovered that Anne was contacted by Serrano, the principal of the Blueberry Academy in the Unova region. The Blueberry Academy is well known for its battle settlement, and seeing as this has now been mentioned, I wonder if we'll see an arc of the gang going there too. It does tie into the Indigo Disc segment of the Scarlet and Violet games DLC, and it's all in relation to Terrapagos. So not only will we maybe see a Blueberry arc, but maybe we'll finally get to see Kieran as well, including all of the gang participating in the league. I think this is inevitable at this point, especially seeing as the gang have already been to the land of Kitakami, and they've also met Karrye. It would be pretty cool to see the battles that could unfold at the academy, alongside all of the other activities that take place. Now I want to talk about the Ash vs Roy debate. The hour special has proven itself to be really great at reintroducing our heroes. However, with Roy returning as a much more confident and mature character, there's been a debate within the fandom surrounding how he has proven himself to be a possible copy of our 10-year-old hero from Pallet Town. I'ma be real and just say that whilst Roy is getting stick for being similar to Ash for having similar Pokemon, having the aura capabilities, and even frickin' posing like him, I really don't think he's out here trying to be a cheap copy of Ash. They're literally two different characters with completely different goals and supposedly from two different timelines. There's no harm in comparing and discussing the similarities between them, but to say that either one is better or worse compared to the other is just a little bit mad, especially when either character hasn't even met one another. Of course, we know Ash is the world champion, so automatically everybody would assume he's better, but at the same time, I think everybody just needs to take a chill pill. It's clearly just for marketing purposes, and as much as I love both of these characters, it really ain't that deep. Plus, if anything, Roy's the one that copied me first. Uruto is a character that is already starting to bring questions to the table. From what we know so far, he met Roy back in the Kalos region, and the pair now share a friendly rivalry. Uruto shares the same goal as Roy, and that's to meet and catch the Black Rayquaza. Roy has expressed how he does want to meet Rayquaza again, but there's something that could link to Uruto that could weigh a big importance of this encounter. Back in the opening, we see Uruto is in an alleyway and he is looking at a Pokeball. At first I didn't think much of this, however if we take a closer look, it appears that the Pokeball is in fact an ancient Pokeball. Back in episode 89, we know that Lucius's journal on ancient Pokeballs were lost in the depths of Rakurium, all apart from one. Is this ancient Pokeball belonging to Rayquaza, or does it belong to another Pokemon we are yet to know about? Could there be another hero Pokemon that we are yet to discover? I'm still in two minds as to what to think about Uruto. Is he a friend, or is he a foe? I mentioned last week how I initially thought that maybe Spinal will manipulate and use Uruto to get the final 6 hero to complete his malicious plans. It could be something similar to what Lysandre done to Alan, to try and gain Mega Evolution energy, but in replacement, Spinal just needs Rayquaza, bearing in mind that this Pokemon is also capable of Mega Evolution. But like I said, it could be that maybe Uruto has the ancient Pokeball of another Pokemon that we are yet to discover. But I think we can all agree that this is just Rayquaza's Pokeball. And it could have been that he came across here after the Pokeball was scattered during the events in Rakurium. How did he get this ancient Pokeball though? We have no idea. Now let's talk about some interesting signs of shipping between Liko and Roy. So it's evident that both characters have shown signs of care and other personalities towards one another, but let's take a closer look at some small shipping moments that many fans are starting to think could shape into something bigger. We first saw early signs of a potential ship between these characters all the way back in episode 5, and even during various battle moments too, both Liko and Roy have expressed care and thought for one another. The most recent episodes have shown that even when reuniting, Liko was slightly blushing, becoming embarrassed in front of her classmates when she was questioned about who Roy is. Don't get me wrong, I can see why. Little brother Roy has had a glow up since then, and he's proven himself to be quite the character. I think one of the more noticeable examples of the shipping detail is where Roy tried to persuade Liko to get her to help him in finding more about Rakurium. After Liko sadly declines, he doesn't get angry and acknowledges her feelings, and he shows great care and understanding. I think this is very nice of Roy. Even though they both have each other's back and shared quite the adventure already, seeing Roy not want to overwhelm his friend is quite pleasant. With Liko blushing and being inspired by Roy's mature and confident character, and with Roy showing great care and wanting to see Liko again on various occasions, it's fair to say that there is definitely a connection of some sort between the pair. But we'll just have to wait and see on how this can develop later on in this arc, especially now that both characters have aged. Rakurium has proven itself to be quite the topic in this series so far, and there's something in particular that's intrigued me about it. Lucius mentioned that Rakurium is not from the usual planet the gang are from, implying that it's almost like an alien substance. Pakugo is a Pokemon that can use its terrestrial energy to purify those affected by Rakurium, and with it now out of its Pokeball, and with it now returning in the series, we can see how it purified the Steelix most recently in today's episode. When Roy and Uruto took on the infected Slakin, it took 2 Mega Evolved Pokemon and Captain Pikachu to defeat it. Of course, Slakin is quite a bulky Pokemon, but the fact that it took 3 strong Pokemon to defeat it shows that Rakurium is no joke. On the topic of Mega Evolution, what if the energy from this mechanic could help cure infected Pokemon? Mega Evolution has a lot of importance in both the Kalos and Hoenn region, and with there being connections for how Roy met Uruto in Kalos, Rayquaza being from the Hoenn region, and other elements as well, I wonder if the gang are now going to be on a quest to overcome Rakurium infected Pokemon. We've already seen them battle both a Slakin and Steelix, so maybe each time they battle a Pokemon, this is where they'll learn more about the infection, including what Spinal aims to do with it. Mega Evolution still holds many mysteries to its name, so maybe we will learn something brand new about it as time passes. Finally, let's talk about Nemona. Nemona has played a decent role in this series so far, and it's been confirmed that she will be returning once again. One thing that has left viewers puzzled though, is if she has aged. From what we can see in the opening, she doesn't seem to have changed as much in terms of appearance. However, it could be quite the curveball if she did age as well. I think it would be a really interesting way to show how time has passed in the series, alongside seeing a character we're used to not to age to actually then proving themselves to be quite older. Seeing as the time skip has been 1 year, maybe there wouldn't be any drastic change to coincide with this, but then again, time has passed, and if we look closely, it does seem like she has a different haircut. So maybe this could be an indicator after all. Once again fam, Pokémon Horizons has proven itself to be a banger series. The Mega Voltage arc is already off to a promising start, and there are so many different topics of discussion that are coming out of the woodwork. I'm really intrigued to learn more about Uruto and what his involvement is in this series. If the theory of a Mega Mewtwo returning in the series is true, then we'll definitely be in for a real treat. Don't forget to stay locked into this series, and be sure to tune into Pokémon Horizons if you haven't already, and as always, if you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave it a like and subscribe for more Pokémon Horizons coverage and Pokémon anime content.